Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Now today I'm going to be making a lemon butter cake. This is going to be a square cake in an 8-inch square tin. Lots of butter in it, and it has to be beaten. The butter and the sugar have to be beaten for quite a long time to get some air into them. And so I'll go straight on to the ingredients. I have 230 grams of pastry flour or plain flour, and into that I'm going to put half a teaspoon of baking powder so I can mix that in. And I also have next to that 200 grams of caster sugar. Granulated sugar would be okay. And in the bowl of my stand mixer I have 250 grams of softened butter. I have 5 medium eggs, that would be large in the USA. I have the zest from 2 medium sized lemons, that would work out at about a loose tablespoon. I have 50 millilitres of milk, and I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll just roughly try to tell you the flour, the cup measurements. 230 grams is about 1 7/8 cups. 200 grams of sugar is 1 cup of sugar. Eggs we know about. 250 grams of butter is 2 sticks of butter plus 2 tablespoons. 50 millilitres of milk is 1 dessert spoon, less than 1/4 of a cup. So what I'm going to do is put the sugar in with the butter, and I'm going to mix that on a fairly high speed for 10 to 15 minutes until it's turned nice and pale and all the sugar has been absorbed. And at that stage I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 Fahrenheit, which is 180 Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan. That is ready for the oven, and I do have my 8-inch cake tin greased and lined, ready for the batter. So we'll go on and we'll mix this butter and sugar together first of all. And I should say that I'm going to scrape down my bowl during this process to make sure that nothing gets stuck to the bottom. Okay, that's very light and fluffy now. It's turned a very nice pale colour. So what I'm going to do now is to pour the eggs in about 1 at a time. And I'm going to mix those until they're combined as well, and at the same time I'm going to put my lemon zest in to get that incorporated. And I'll scrape down the bowl to make sure we get the egg incorporated into everything. Put the next egg in. And we'll carry on until we've got all 5 incorporated. Now if that mixture looks a little curdled, it doesn't really matter. Mine doesn't look too curdled, but sometimes when you mix the eggs in, it looks as though it's curdling, but that will all come together with the flour. So I'm just going to give that another quick whisk, and then we're going to add our flour in. And what I want to do is I want to change to my paddle attachment for that. So I'll put the paddle attachment on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the flour in a bit at a time. And I'm going to mix that on a slow speed because I don't want to knock the air out. Okay, so that's nicely mixed now. So the next thing to do is to put that into our cake tin. And then we'll spread that around. That will level off when it hits the heat of the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick that up and tap it a couple of times like that to release a little bit of the air if there are any big bubbles in it. And what I'm going to do is to bake that in the oven now for between 50 and 60 minutes. I will check it after 50 minutes and test it with a skewer, and if it needs a bit longer then I'll give it a bit longer. Then I'll take it out and let it cool down, and I'll come back and show you the results. Okay, so I baked our cake and I took it out of the oven and let it cool down, and I've actually cut it, and this is what it looks like. Now I should say I baked this for exactly 60 minutes. I tested it before the 60 minutes was up and I thought it was still a little bit damp on the inside. The skewer was a little bit sticky when it came out, so I left it for the full 60 minutes. It looks quite good, so I'll have a taste of it. It's nice and moist and buttery, and I get that little hit of lemon as well, and it's quite light, so I think it's actually very good. It would be ideal with a cup of tea or as a dessert with some fruit compote or something. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen, as ever, there will be an eye that you can click on, which will take you to the recipe, and I'll also put a link to it below the video as well, and I will be back with you with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.